Welcome to the Beacon by Soul 33, teachings for your past, present and future. Good morning, everyone. It is the 2nd of October here in Auckland, New Zealand. How are you all today? And how are you all feeling after last week's full moon? Now, if you're listening to this on the Beacon app or on Spotify or on YouTube, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, tag, let people know that this platform exists, your 20-odd minute soul progression lesson for the week to keep you on track, to keep you understanding what you're here for, to question the right things and to understand why you are experiencing things. Those of you who are meditating more often and doing the weekly homework will find that the Monday mantras make sense to you by the end of the week, and they will be able to be applied to various scenarios in your life. And those of you who are a little bit more newer on the journey will look with curiosity throughout the week. What does this mean? Why has she set it at this particular lesson, for this particular lesson? So as I do a recap of last week's energy, just listen and start placing it, because what I know with the work that I do, soul progression therapy, especially in first sessions, and then as we work together going forward, things come up that we need to address from the past, and I see it through past lives, and then I work on it energetically to see how it affects your future, all of those things, is to always understand what's coming up for you. Sometimes you don't need to overanalyze things, but just know what they're for. So the one thing I always tell my clients is that I'm a human. I experience all the emotions, all the things like anybody else. It's just that I know what the lesson is or what the experience is for almost immediately. So I'm not accumulating it for future lives and future experiences. So your Monday mantra last week was, I am a reflection of what I receive. I am a reflection of what I receive. And I really noticed that in the beginning of the week, and I give you examples of myself so you know how to apply this into your own life, what I was receiving was space and time. And this is what I was saying yes to, because I could fill my days up working. And while I would love to do that, I would literally die. And so I always need to make some space for me to be able to go back to myself before I work. And so the decisions that I was making was feeling like I deserve to have time and that there is no agenda. My agenda is to heal myself, and I've been giving myself a lot of energy. But also, when I was looking at the things I was receiving, they were really interesting things. Like, for example, I'd been looking for particular furniture for a while, quite like a couple of years, and everything fell into place last week where I found what I was looking for from 2 different places, and within days I had that space that I wanted replaced in my home, replaced. And so I was receiving a reflection of me, which was this feeling of being at home and feeling secure and feeling comfortable. And when I looked at what I was receiving from clients, I could see that I was receiving always the gift of knowledge and wisdom, but I was receiving clients in a very different way last week. So I'm not, whether you read my Instagram posts or not, in many of my sessions last week, and if you're someone that saw me last week and I brought this up with you, then this is a reminder. My eyes were burning and burning, with just profusely tearing up with water coming out of my eyes. There was a lot of information I was receiving for myself and for clients to see beyond the illusion and see the truth. And I don't mean seeing through your eyes, I'm meaning seeing through your vibration, seeing through your third eye. What is this for? What is this about? What am I receiving? And I also had that experience. Those of you who, excuse me, saw that the dolphins had gone by, I shared this on my Insta stories and said, if you saw that video, that was a sign for you to go and do the dolphin meditation. And when the dolphins were going by, the same thing started to happen. My eyes were burning and tears streaming out of my eyes. And I realized is that I didn't need to see the dolphins. All I needed to do was receive their healing vibration as they went by. And then there were double rainbows as the dolphins were going by. And I saw them twice that day, going back and forward from the north and then back over the other side again later on in the day. So I saw that I deserved to have this stillness, I deserved to have this beauty, and it was nature appreciating me by acknowledging that in my stillness I get to notice things like the dolphins and the rainbows and all of this beautiful messages and healing from Mother Earth. But you may have actually received things from other people. I received some beautiful guided messages from a medium friend of mine who came into my life last week and gave me some messages for me. And I was like, oh my goodness, the meaning I'm creating from this is that I'm allowed to have space. I'm allowed to I don't need to hustle right now. I just want to be in the space of what I can manage, what I can truly handle to do the best for you and for myself. And I could see it was part of a link to the future. And the going step by step, and the furniture is a very practical example. I'd wanted to replace it for years, but step by step I had to do other bits of the house first until I found the right thing, and then everything was found all at once. So when we're looking at the bigger picture, it's good to look at the bigger picture sometimes to go, okay, what's happening here? What's this all for? But what I meant with last week's Monday Mantra is when you're looking at the bigger picture in terms of like, oh my God, how will I ever meet someone, and when will I have my children, and how will my business grow, and am I going to have money? Those 3D things become very overwhelming when it comes to that type of picture. So something last week would have been a step-by-step preparation to the bigger picture of your practical life, okay? And this is where there's no rush, and that's why Spirit was saying slow down, because you need time to process, you need time to receive. So how was that panning out in your life? I also noticed that rather than say, because I put in the Monday Mantra, try to say yes, even if it's something that feels scary. So for me, I saw myself saying yes to the things that I wanted, but I wasn't actually saying no. By saying yes, it was already just a natural, I don't really want that right now. Because if you say yes, yes has a more expansive feeling. No feels like it's a boundary set. There's no line, there's no flexibility. And maybe sometimes that is the case, but that wasn't the case of last week. So this is also around unconscious patterning. Like, yes, I'm attracting things into my life that I love. I want more of that, please. We don't always need to say no to set a boundary. We can say yes to set a boundary, and the no is just common sense because you're moving into another direction. So if you're getting what you want at the moment, yes, please, universe, more please. And I found myself, I've forgotten what Spirit had told me to say in the Monday Mantra. I found myself last week putting music on, dancing around the house with it, shifting my own energy. And I love doing that, but it's not been often that I've had the chance to do it because I have been so busy. Around the full moon time, I was feeling quite frustrated, but that was on a human level, and it was again back to the how am I going to get there on a practical level. But deeper than that, deeper than the frustration was really a lot of peace, because human nature is to get frustrated. How am I going to get there? What is it that I need to do? It's just too overwhelming to think that I can't control people, so it was very much a practical frustration. So that for me was releasing the overthinking and the old realities around having to hustle, but also I had to use my mind only to solve problems in the interim to align with what I want. I was still going with the peace in my heart and the mind only to solve issues that I needed to solve at that time. I have to admit that full moon day, the 29th, was very, very challenging clients for me energetically. People were very blocked up. People were full of grief. People were not wanting to hear everything. And I'm generalizing here, but it was my experience with many of my clients, not all of them on the 29th, but everyone was releasing a lot of physical blockages, physical health issues, lacking in certain nutrients in the body. So this was coming up a lot over the full moon period. So it was a preparation and a great end to September, and now we're in October going into the eclipse season. But September has been a time of fresh beginnings. It may not seem that way, but I can see them in little ways in my life, like, oh, everything that I'm wanting is starting to come together in some way, because old parts of us have been releasing, especially around the full moon, and decisions are being made and putting things back together that need a fresh start from a practical perspective on long-term goals as we move into October, where there's a positive emphasis on relationships. I remember a client from last week. I can't remember who it was, but they were very, very closed up, and they were also having heart issues, physical heart issues. And I could see in lifetimes before that they held a lot of secrets about themselves. Now, this person, I don't believe, really understood what Spirit was conveying to them, but I could feel this shift, like this person's really going to come into their own. So all these underlying secrets are coming up to the surface, and I'm noticing this in the trauma of the body. So sometimes the mind has already moved on, but the body is what people are finding, like, oh, this hurts, or I'm having heart problems, or I'm fainting, or I'm suddenly developing this illness, or whatever. So it's really, really important that you're cleansing and nourishing your body in the way that it needs as we're moving in through these final months of the year. Now, just a couple of reminders. Those of you who are new here, welcome. It's so nice to have you. I know that sometimes registering to the app can be a little bit hard to understand, but the reason why I keep the link offline, off Play Store and off Apple Store is because, or the App Store, is because they take a very, very large percentage of the subscription fee, which means that I would have to be charging what other meditation apps charge, which is about 15 to 20 US dollars a month. Mine is only 60 per year. So for the whole 12 months, it is 60 bucks. And the reason why I do it offline is so that I don't have to put the price up, because most of it would be going to the platforms. And if you need help with registering, or if you need help with renewing, Kieran is the person to ask. Also, if you're having any IT issues, please let Kieran know, because we've got full-time developers working constantly on the app and upgrading it so that it is compatible with new phone technologies. And remember, I'm here for you. Yes, my wait lists are long, but it is always the right time when you see me. And I'm someone that you don't need to see all the time, because you need to get on with your life. You need to progress yourself so that Spirit has things to tell you in terms of progressing you on your path. So therefore, doing your homework on the app, asking for mini readings or soul magics or personalized meditations, those are really great ways for you to be getting guidance and energy without you needing to know everything at once. Because remember what I do, I'm not a hand reader. I'm not here to read your fortune. My job in this world is to progress your soul, and that is sometimes by going to the past, to the present, to the future, to the physical body, to whatever it is that comes up in your sessions. But if you're needing any help, personalized meditations are amazing, because you get energy infused into the track by me. It's like doing a session for me. But any help at all, Kieran's the person to ask, soul33@gmail.com. As we move through the week, the card that came up for you after that spiel was the Soul Progression card. And I wasn't surprised this card came up, because it was about seeing your ability to see your reflection in everything you receive. So the client, for example, that was quite challenging last week because they were very blocked up, and this is not a criticism, it's just where they are on their soul progression. They were really struggling to receive the messages from Spirit, because they couldn't see their reflection in that, because they've been one way for so many lifetimes. So your soul is progressing by being able to change your story and not get caught up in the past. Because sometimes I feel like I see clients and they just want me to say things that they will agree with. Yeah, I understand that. Yes, that makes sense. But that's not my job. If I'm saying things to you that you right now just have no idea what that means, that is your link. That is your piece of the puzzle of linking you to something bigger. Your soul is progressing by being able to change your story and not get caught up in the past but taking one step at a time to reach your potential. And use the gifts that you have as a foundation to take steps from. It's not scary when you know what you're leaving into a future without complication, but one of truth and comfort. Now, what I mean by that is that I'm meeting a lot of people who are saying to me, but how do I make my business work? How do I make money? I want to change my career. Okay. The practical response to that is, well, what are your skills? What do you know how to do? But people often want a magical response like, yep, you have been an accountant for 35 years in this lifetime, and pretty much all your other lifetimes you've done something similar, and then you're wanting to do something else. So what are the practical things that you need to do that? Because there is no magical answer. Things are not easy. Making things happen, people, and this is something I discussed with my spiritual practitioner friend last week. People think that when you're meant to be doing something or meant to be with someone, it's all like, oh, it's smooth sailing and it's beautiful and it's wonderful. There is definitely less resistance when you are working or doing something with someone after a period of time, but everything is effort. So what I meant by that statement is if you're needing to change, you need to look at who you are and what you've got to be able to use that as the foundation for your next step, because people are usually too afraid to completely change careers because you don't have the experience yet. You don't know what to expect yet. So Spirit's asking me to give you this example of this woman I know overseas. This is not a client. This is just somebody I know of, not very well. This person was in a job that they were very good at and very high up in, and they were amazing at it. And they suddenly were like, this is not my calling anymore. This is like after 30 years of doing this job and being in this industry. And this person decided to go into a completely different area, which was like a creative job. So I'll just give you an example of, say, they were a doctor and suddenly they wanted to become an interior designer. This person failed miserably as an interior designer, as I'm using that as an example. And the reason is because they didn't find the links in between to link the chapters. Instead, it was a brutal change that actually she tried that for a year and then went back to being the hypothetical doctor and still is in that industry because they didn't go looking in between to go, hang on, what's the spiritual link here? This is what I mean. It's not scary when you know what you are leaving into a future without complication, but one of truth and comfort. You're going into something new with what you know. And it's like me, for example, when Soul 33 occurred, I don't shy away from telling anybody this because it's who I am as a person. I'm a business person. I have a master's in management and I had a product distribution company. I'm a trained TV presenter. I used to work in radio also. Those are skills that I have. They are also my gifts. And then spiritual gifts came along too. So I just blended everything together because they are who I am. So those links I knew what those links were. What are your links? What are your links in order for you to progress your soul? And as the full moon energy came up, I wrote, there is underlying peace within my heart to see the truth of my creation. My eyes have been burning during some sessions this week because they are no longer needing to see the false realities we've created for ourselves. I was asked to remind you all that what is reflecting back at, asked to remind you all about what is reflecting back at you. There's so much natural beauty to be grateful for. The harvest Mother Earth gives us in her natural form and in order. Everything goes in an order. That's the link that I'm talking about. Nothing is ever like, you don't have the moon phases skipping between waning and waxing, going just from full to new. Everything goes in an order. We are all wanting to experience a fullness in our lives, a purposeful existence where we progress at the speed that is meant for us and from within us. So if there's secrets within your soul that your mind doesn't know how to adjust to, those are all coming out in some way. We want to see our light shine as brightly as the full moon in all its glory. We shouldn't be afraid. So this is a little bit of a lecture, but also an observation. When I see clients, everyone is different. Some people are very closed, some people are very open. Some people want me to shine my light in full capacity in all its glory to be able to help you. That's when I know when I'm seeing someone who is in full alignment, who wants to see me for who I am. And we talked about seeing ourselves for who we are, and I think in the previous Monday mantra. But some people want me to be wrong. They want me to be wrong. They want to leave a session going, no, that wasn't right. I don't resonate with that. But they never actually consider that they are a reflection of what they're receiving. So that is something to consider in terms of, are you letting other people shine their light so that you also can shine your light? Or are you shining your light so that they can shine theirs? The yes we say is an acceptance of what we are wanting to create and let go of. That's what I said to you before. When we're saying yes, something is already being let go of. We don't actually need to say no anymore because we're saying yes to what we do want. It takes courage to look into yourself to see what you have created outside, because that's where people, I have had clients in the past who are like, oh, it sounds like you're blaming me for this. I'm like, it's not. It's an observation of everything accumulating to what is being created outside of you, because there is no one to blame anymore. We're out with the victim energy. This is why people's bodies are catching up. This purging that's going on. My body hurts, I'm sick, I'm passing out, I'm having heart issues. Being grateful for what you have received and ready to move forward, feeling supported without knowing how. It was funny, I was walking through the supermarket. I don't really like supermarket shopping. When I walk into a supermarket, it's like even with a shopping list, my brain I think I just get very overwhelmed with people and everyone's energy. But I was walking through the supermarket, staying focused, thinking, oh my gosh, how grateful I am to have a modern supermarket with a trolley, being able to put what I want into a trolley and taking it home to nourish and feed myself and my partner. So it was just little, and seeing the dolphins and the rainbows, and I was just thinking, wow, natural beauty in its divine order. Going step by step enables us to progress while being able to say yes to what we want and understand what we are receiving. Many want to know everything all at once, but life does not work that way. Your progression takes time. You want to be able to say yes to what you want and go in the order of experiences. Some things need to happen for other things to occur. Even the horrible things need to happen, the challenging things, the breakups, the pain, the death, the birth, whatever needs to happen before other things can eventuate. Understand that what you are receiving is everything your soul has been through, not just from this lifetime, but everything that came before you. Everything is an accumulation, everything. Accumulation of karma, accumulation of lifetimes of experiences. This is why it's important when I do speak to you and past lives do come up. It may not be exactly you now, but it's contributed to why you are the way that you are. Your soul has been through not just from this lifetime, but everything that came before. So remember that. Even if you're receiving things, you're like, I don't understand why I'm receiving this. It is probably karmically and past life related. It is all a reflection and accumulation of the entire you. So that was a lot, because now I'm going to get into this week's Monday mantra. Remember, if you need any help at all, there are many different ways to connect with me. But if you are wanting me, Kieran is the person to talk to about when and how that's all working. Regular clients, please don't worry. I will be opening things more last minute because I can only do so much. And Kieran's putting you all on lists so that she can contact you when things do open up. This week's Monday mantra is: my relationship with everything and everyone is supporting me. My relationship with everything and everyone is supporting me. Now we're moving into the eclipse season this month, and there's 2 eclipses, which I'll talk about as they come up. But I feel there's a beautiful start to the month because it's asking us to bring harmony within our relationship energy. So you can see it in a way of carving out the space for more romance, setting boundaries by saying yes to the things that you do want, or re-establishing a connection that you may not have felt for some time. Now, this also can mean the opposite shows up, where you're getting resistance and you're feeling like, oh my God, things might be falling apart. Because eclipses really do shine the shadows shine the light into the shadows, basically. And it's all to bring that connection energy back into balance. Connection to whom? Connection to what? Connection to earth, connection to spirit, connection to your partner, to your children. So really think broadly with the Monday mantras that I said. The sway, so pretend you've got a pendulum swaying, right? The sway back into balance will depend on how off kilter you are to get back into balance of connection for support. So if you're already living a life that is balanced and you are in that alignment, your sway back to balance is not going to be so violent, meaning like the opposite of harmony won't be showing up as much. It won't be so volatile in terms of, oh my God, I've got so much work to do. It'll be like, I can handle this because my relationship with everything and everyone is supporting me. And if you're single, it's time to realign yourself with the energy of connection. So for example, I can't remember someone last week, they were married, but I could feel in their heart that they were very closed off to letting their partner in. So Spirit and I had to do some work to be able to release that so there could be this connection made again with their partner. It all really comes back to support. Now, when we look at others and when we look to others, we're really looking for support, even if we are the most independent person. This is what we're all moving towards this week. It's like when we have a partner or when we ask a friend, talk to a friend or go to see me or a counselor or another practitioner, all we're really asking for is support. And what needs to be done and said this week to get that support? You're being asked to really be courageous in your words, and it will be heard and pay off, but it might not be immediately because true change takes time. We can't assume that people know how to fulfill our needs and honor our boundaries without actually saying anything. And we often don't express our needs because we're afraid to challenge the status quo or afraid to lose on some level and sometimes want to be a victim by having a chip on our shoulder. So what's the case with you? Some people, when they want to be a victim, it's because they're so used to being in that sabotaging energy that that's how they feel safe. But they're not getting support by being a victim, not true support where it's this, I'm shining in my light to see your light. There's no need to force things because the only way to the other side is through. It's a big message for this week. There's no need to force things because the only way to the other side is through. Act and speak with love. Surrender to the outcome without concerning yourself with losing power. So this is not about power struggle, but it is about surrendering to the outcome once you've said what you've needed to say or established your connection to find some harmony. Your intention this week is healing to regain connection for support. So who do you need to do that with? It could just be with yourself, like, okay, I need to heal myself to feel like I can regain a connection with my heart so that light is projected out to the person that I'm meant to meet, whether it's a lover or a job connection or whatever you're wanting. You are loved and you are supported just by walking the surface of Mother Earth. She supports us in this world, and gravity enables us to keep our feet on the ground. That is also a significant relationship we take for granted. Lots to think about with this Monday mantra. Remember, as you go through the week, come back to the Monday mantra, read it, and then listen to it, and then read it again, and then listen to it. I do that too because I'm busy during the week and I forget, and I'll be like, what am I meant to be remembering again this week? Your Monday mantra is, my relationship with everything and everyone is supporting me. My relationship with everything and everyone is supporting me. Don't forget to use the oracle cards. Pull one every day. I love some of you are sharing what you're getting every day in the group chat. Now, the group chat is to share your experiences with the meditations, what's happening for you, what cards you're pulling, all of that. The first week of every month, you get a new meditation. You will have one up this Thursday, New Zealand time, which is Wednesday in the Northern Hemisphere. So you have a new meditation and I will send you a notification. Oh, to get notifications, please stay logged into the app. I don't send them all that often. It's just reminders and prompts for you. And don't click on them. Just pull your screen down to be able to read them because they're not text messages. They're literally notifications that are done through the app. I am here to support you, and my relationship with you supports me too. And I'm so, so grateful for that. So have a great week. I will look forward to sharing this new meditation with you in a few days. And remember, you are progressing very, very rapidly at the moment. So just be easy on yourself and take it easy as to what you're wanting and how quickly it's coming, because everything has a divine